On day 1, I spawned in as a wolf. Wait, I'm not a regular wolf. I'm a firewolf. I can set blocks on fire. It didn't do too much, but it was a pretty cool ability. I looked around and saw my owner Steve with me, and he seemed to be happily mining quartz. I bet he's super strong and can protect me from any danger. Just then, a massive and strong skeleton appeared out of nowhere.
Oh, Steve. You thought you and your little fire dog could escape me here in the Nether? Well, think again. This time I won't let you escape.
Run away, Cilio. I'll take care of him.
I tried to set fire to the skeleton to help my dad, but my powers weren't enough to save my owner. I watched Steve try to fight back against the evil skeleton, but he was no match. He completely wrecked Steve and abducted him.
You're next, little puppy. Don't think I forgot about you.
No, run away, Cilio. Go back through our nether portal and hide.
I trusted my owner and ran back to our nether portal and hopped right in. On day 2, I had teleported into the overworld, and I tried breaking the portal behind me, but it wouldn't work. I didn't have much time, so I used my fire ability on the portal and managed to finally break it. That skeleton was really big and strong. He can probably build a new portal in no time. I have to get out of here fast. If I wanted to be safer in the overworld without my owner, I was going to need some gear to keep me protected. I started off by chopping down trees to gather some wood to build myself a base. This wood is nothing special, but at least it'll help me keep me protected. At least I thought so, until I turned around and saw a bear charging at me. You don't want to mess with me. I'm going to light you up. I tried my best to scare the bear off with my fire, but it didn't seem to care and started attacking me. I knew it wasn't worth it to fight a bear without any gear. I had to make my escape. I thought the overworld mobs were scared of fire. I guess I'm not as safe as I thought. I kept running on day 3 until I eventually found a meteor that had crashed into the ground. This seems like the perfect place for a base. I know exactly what to do. I tried breaking down the meteor to hollow it out, but the blocks just seemed to be too strong. I'll have to try this out later. Night was coming and I didn't want to place my home just anywhere for the evil skeleton to find, so I started digging down to find safety underground. Just then, I broke a block underneath me and fell right through a hole in the ceiling, falling into a pit of lava. But for some reason, I wasn't hurt. Wow, I guess being a firewolf definitely has its perks. This lava feels kind of nice. I looked around and saw that I had fallen into a massive cave system filled with lava and came up with an idea. Now this is a place I could call home. I didn't have too many blocks yet, but I didn't mind having a humble little base for now. It didn't take long before the cave started looking like a home. I was really happy with the progress I was making. This place looks great to me. All it needs is a bed right here. This is a step in the right direction to saving my owner. On days 4 through 5, I made it back to the surface to go and find myself a food source. I was getting really hungry. I quickly found myself a cow and decided to kill it for some beef. I went to hit the cow with my paws, and with just one hit, I set the cow on fire, giving me some cooked beef when it died. Well, this was a tasty surprise. I saw another pile of log lying around and decided to go and collect it for some more materials. This will sure help furnish my new home. But as I was cutting it down, I heard a voice calling me, and a wolf came out from behind the pile. But this wolf looked different to me.
Hey you! What are you doing? Stop cutting down my home.
Sorry. I didn't realize anybody lived here.
You've got to be more respectful of your surroundings. Us wolves stick up for each other here in the woods. Although you do look a bit different.
As the wolf started talking again, I saw a pair of eyes looking at us from the shadows. Wait, what is that? Just then, we got attacked by a nightmare stalker.
The skeleton lord told me I might find you somewhere over here, little puppy. Looks like you've made yourself a friend too. How cute. Anyways, you're coming with me.
The nightmare stalker charged at me, hitting me and my new friend hard. In a moment of panic, I surrounded me and my friend with a circle of fire. And to my relief, the nightmare stalker stopped attacking me.
You got lucky this time, kid. But this is not over yet.
Just as fast as the nightmare stalker had appeared, it was gone. I spent days 6 through 8 trying to figure out what had just happened. Do you have any idea what that thing was?
I heard rumors of him destroying villages, and I've seen the aftermath of it myself. But I heard that it only attacks at night. It's never been seen in the day before. It's not supposed to survive in the sunlight. Something must be making that creature stronger and giving it powers. It might be the skeleton lord he was talking about, and I don't think anybody living in these woods will be safe for long. I think it's time for me to take my leave and go.
I told him about the evil skeleton and how he had captured my owner, and we decided it was best that he'd move in with me into my home. At least we'd both be safe there. Hey, what's your name, by the way?
My name's Warren.
Good to meet you, Warren. I'm Cilio. On days 9 through 10, I arrived back home at my base with my new friend and started building him his very own section. I thought he wouldn't be as much of a fan of lava as me, so I built his section a bit further away from the heat. I also added a couple of extra houses in case he wanted to bring along any of his friends.
Thanks, Cilio. I think I'll finally be safe from the skeleton lord down here.
No problem. I'll need to expand our home a lot more to provide safety for a bunch of other mobs that may be looking for a safe haven right now. I also wonder if there's other wolves like me out there. Warren wanted to thank me for bringing him to safety, so he gave me a bunch of his old iron gear that he had collected on his journey.
I think he'll put these to better use than me.
I was out exploring on days 11 through 13 when I was suddenly attacked by a group of zombies in barrels, which seemed to protect them from sunlight. I was confident I could take them on with my new gear. I started hitting the zombies, lighting each one of them on fire with my flame ability. They were still really strong, but my new armor helped keep me protected, and it wasn't long before I took each one of the undead out. Phew. That was close. I continued my search when I noticed a village that was destroyed and burning down. I went to take a closer look and saw the skeleton lord talking with somebody. I went to listen in on what was going on. I started sneaking closer to hear the conversation better. But just then, the skeleton lord turned around and sent a skeleton ravager charging right at me.
I don't have time to deal with you right now, puppy. But I'll let you enjoy the company of my minions.
The skeleton lord disappeared, and I was left to fight the ravager all by myself. The skeleton ravager feels way stronger than a normal one. I can't even imagine how strong the skeleton lord's powers are if these are his minions. The mutated ravager was getting a lot of hits in, and I was getting close to death. Just then, I decided to light the ravager on fire, and it wasn't long until it had burned to death. Wow! I'm going to need to get a lot stronger if I want any chance of taking the skeleton lord out. I then looked around and saw that it had dropped some strange material. I picked it up, and it turned out to be a dark metal armor plate. I don't know what this is for, but I'll take it with me just in case. On days 14 through 17, I was on my way home when I noticed a strange figure near the meteor from earlier, and I decided to go and investigate. Whoever you are, I'm not with the evil skeleton. I come in peace. When I got closer, I saw that it was a wandering trader trying to mine out the meteor. Hey there! I tried breaking the meteor too. It's pretty hard. I doubt you'll be able to break it down.
I have to try. Ever since that evil creature with the glowing eyes killed my llamas, I've been struggling to sell any of my items. I was hoping the meteor might have something valuable inside.
I wish I could help you with that, but I have another offer. You can come to my house for safety. I'll take care of you. The trader happily joined me home, and when we arrived, Warren told me he had a little surprise for me. He had built us an entire farm with running water too, and it was filled with all my favorite foods: carrots, potatoes, and wheat. Whoa, thanks! I ate some of the carrots from the farm, and just then, I grew into a full-sized firewolf. I feel awesome! And I also have 12 hearts! I started off days 18 through 21 by building the wandering trader his own house. I had let him sleep in my bed for the night, and it started to smell, so I definitely wanted him out of there. I built him his house on the edge of the lava, and I made sure to build it out of stone to make sure the house wouldn't burn. Our home was coming along well. As I was clearing out a section of our base to build more settlements, I found myself a bunch of iron and coal. The lava already lights up our cave well, but a few extra torches to keep the mobs out definitely won't hurt. I placed down a bunch of furnaces to smelt down the iron, and as that was happening, I brought some sheep down to our cave to set up a farm. I wanted to build something massive, so I knew I would need a lot of wool for that. This definitely isn't enough right now, but it's a great start. I then collected all my smelted iron and was very happy, as this iron would last me a long time. I was traveling through a spruce forest on days 22 through 25 when I spotted a small hut in the distance. Huh? I haven't seen any intact buildings here in the overworld so far. I better go and check it out. I started approaching the hut when I was ambushed by a group of seared spirits who were charging right at me. These guys were so strong, nothing like what I had faced before. I tried fighting back, but they instantly overpowered me, dealing tons of damage with each hit. Oh no, this can't be how it ends. Just then, I heard a whistling sound, and the seared spirits stopped attacking me. Huh? What was that? I looked around and saw the skeleton mage standing outside the lodge. It seemed to be controlling the mobs. I thought all skeletons were evil. How come this one isn't trying to kill me?
Come inside fast. I can't risk anybody seeing us together.
I stepped inside the skeleton mage's hut on days 26 through 30, confused on why it decided to spare me. Why did you let me live out there? You don't look like someone who would be looking out for me. Are you not working with the skeleton lord?
Sorry about that. What were we talking about? Oh yes, the skeleton lord. Indeed, I do work for him, although not by choice. I used to be an evoker before the lord's reign started. Check this out.
He let out one of his abilities, and he hit me with it. Ah! That better have been an accident.
Sorry, it's been a while since I did that last. I've got a bit rusty. Oh yes, back to your question. Why did I save you? Well, there's a very simple answer to that. The skeleton lord is evil. I can't stand working for him. I need you to take him out so I can go back to robbing innocent villagers. I mean, practicing my magic in peace.
Sure. I mean, I'd love to. But if you're not able to take him down, how on earth would I be able to do that? I'm nowhere near strong enough.
Well, there are many ways for you to become stronger in this world. One of these methods you are not ready for quite yet. And the other? Well, I think you're worthy of giving it a shot. There's a vulture especially trained in taking out anything to do with bones, living in the Grand Desert nearby. I suspect you'll be able to enhance your strength over there. But before you go, don't tell anybody that I saved you. I'd end up in very big trouble.
On days 31 through 34, I was on the way home when I decided to collect some orange tulips and poppies for the project I mentioned earlier. I used these to craft myself some yellow and red dye, which I used to dye my sheep when I got home. I collected as much dyed wool as I could and started working on a firewolf statue. I was tired of hiding in fear away from the skeleton lord, and I wanted to make a stand against his reign. I started building a statue out in the open to show all wild creatures in fear that they have a safe place to come and stay outside of the reach of the evil skeleton. I had just enough wool to build up the legs of the statue, and I think it was a great start. After saying my goodbyes to my friends, I left off on my journey to find the eagle on days 35 through 38, when I was stopped in my tracks by the nightmare stalker.
You've escaped my wrath for long enough. Looks like you've grown a bit too, puppy. You can fight me or try to run away, but either way, this will only end in one way, and that is in your death.
The nightmare stalker charged at me, hitting me harder than ever before. He gave me a blinding effect, which made it near impossible to see. I could only see those demonic eyes of his in the dark. Take this, you cruel beast! I tried hitting it with everything I had, but I just didn't seem to be hurting it at all.
Your story ends here, little one.
I took a step back and fell into a ravine, hitting the ground hard and passing out. I woke up on days 39 through 42, confused. I'm not dead? What? I looked up and saw the mage standing over me. The mage guided me to the desert and told me where to go look. I thanked him and went on my way. It wasn't long before I found a massive pyramid lying in the desert. This must be it. I made my way to the entrance of the pyramid when I suddenly felt an attack on my behind. It hurt a lot, so I turned around to face it, but I saw nothing. I looked up and saw a massive vulture flying right at me. Hey, I promise I'm not with the skeleton lord. Trust me. As a wolf, I like bones as much as you do. Will you please train me to become stronger? The vulture then landed right next to me and seemed to approve my request.
As you wish, but take the night to rest up. I'm going to go hunt for some rotten flesh. I'm getting a bit hungry.
That's a bit weird, but sure. I made my way in, and he sure had a weird sense of style and smell, but I was exhausted, so I fell asleep instantly. I woke up on days 43 through 49 to a loud squeak from the vulture.
Oversleeping on your first day of training? You already disappoint me.
What do you mean? The sun's not even up yet. Let me go back to sleep.
You know what they say. The early bird catches the worm. Now let's go.
Ugh, fine. But only because it smells.
Even though you are not a bird, you have to be agile like one. Let's start with my agility course.
It was over a massive pool of lava, but little did the vulture know, I wasn't scared at all. So I was flying through the course at light speed, until out of nowhere, I got knocked out of the air, landing straight into the lava. And when I emerged, I saw the vulture laughing at me. Hey, I could have gotten seriously hurt, you know that?
You have to be ready for anything. As a firewolf, it is not enough being able to control just one element. You need to be a master of them all.
Next up, the vulture took me to his dinner table, and he wanted me to learn to eat rotten food. There's no way this is going to make me stronger. It's just gonna make me want to throw up.
Hahaha, I know. I just wanted to see your face when you tried it.
Finally, the vulture took me to my toughest challenge so far, which was to withstand my bane, which was water. Are you serious? I could die from touching that. It's way too cold for me.
Not only will this exercise help develop your physical strength, but your mental strength too. Now come on, we don't have all day.
The water really hurt me at first, but it didn't take long before I got used to it. And in no time, I was able to dive deep underwater. And I even managed to swim up waterfalls. This is awesome!
Now here's your final challenge, kid. I want you to swim to a nearby island and take on the massive guster that resides there. If you manage to do so and bring back its sand pockets, I will help train you to become the strongest version of yourselves that you can be.
Let's do this! I started my swim on days 50 through 53, and it wasn't long before I found this desert island. It was small, but there wasn't much space for me to maneuver on land. I'd have to figure out a way to fight this mob well. The guster saw me before I even managed to get on land and started firing at me. Ouch! Come on, dude! Let me get on land! Let's at least have a fair fight. The guster wasn't having any of it, but neither was I, so I started playing dirty too. I set the ground around him on fire, trapping him on a corner of the island. As a firewolf, I didn't take any damage from my own abilities, so I ran through the flames, charging at the guster and knocking it back into the water. Here, I was easily able to get hits on it and dodge the oncoming attacks. Take this, you pile of sand! It wasn't long before the job was done, and the guster had been killed. I picked up the sandbags it dropped and swam back to the vulture. Here you go, master. I brought the bags of sand for you. The vulture seemed to throw some sort of potion at me, and I felt different. I gained 4 more hearts. I'm getting stronger by the minute. This is awesome. In my joy, I also let out a massive firebomb that blew up a tree near to me. This ability sure will come in handy when fighting the Skeleton Lord. I thanked the master for all his help and started my journey back home, feeling like a changed wolf. On the night of days 54 through 58, I was on the way back home when I ran into a bunch of skeleton spiders. What perfect timing to try out my new ability. I launched my fireballs at them and took them out in just a few hits from a long range. I don't think I'll even need armor at this point. I felt that I wasn't safe though, as I could just sense something staring at me. I didn't see it at first, but then I spotted something glimmering from the corner of my eye.
Not so lucky this time, kid. I destroyed that filthy trader's cabin. You're on your own now. Any last words?
Eat fire, you sucker! The Nightmare Stalker charged at me, and I knew it was going to try to blind me. But this time, I was prepared. I dodged his hits, and then started launching my fireballs at him. I could see that he was taking a lot of damage. My training had clearly paid off. It wasn't long before I finally put an end to that evil monster, and took him out with one final fireball. Woohoo! I did it! I saw that he had dropped a bunch more dark metal armor plates, and a bunch of netherite too, so I collected them all and took them with me. I finally made it home on days 59 through 62, where Warren was waiting for me, and he told me that the sheep had made me a surprise. I went to check it out, and turns out the sheep had left me a massive pile of wool to help me build the statue. Thanks guys, don't mind if I do. I then headed to my statue and started building it up. This time I focused on the body of the statue, and it's starting to really look good. It only needs a bit more work and it'll be finished. I will still need a lot more blocks to finish the statue up. On days 63 through 67, I went out looking for some more dye to help me finish up the statue, when I was attacked by the same bear from day 2. I just shot one fireball at it, and it ran away with its tail between its legs. I'm sure getting a lot stronger. I think I'm almost ready to go and save my owner. Just then, I ran into the mage's cabin from earlier, and I was shocked at what I saw. It had been completely destroyed and was on flames. I went to take a look, but just then I was ambushed by a bunch of armored zombies. I tried shooting my fireballs at them, but they seemed unfazed. They seemed to block them with their shields. I guess it's time to try out how strong I've truly become. I started striking down these zombies, setting each one of them on fire with my powers. These guys were not playing around, and even though they didn't do too much damage, they managed to get a lot of hits because their armor kept them protected. Lucky for me, they couldn't handle the heat, and eventually I managed to kill each and every one of them. Phew. That could have ended badly. I was worried about the mage and went to check up on him, but he was nowhere in sight. I was about to take my leave and go, but just then I heard groaning from under a fallen tree. What on earth was that? I went to check it out and found the mage lying down under the wood. Don't worry, I'll get you out of there.
They found out I was working with you and sent their forces to attack me. Thank you for saving me.
No problem. Let me get you to safety. On day 68 through 72, I made it back home with the mage and started building a house for him. As a mage, I'm sure he enjoyed being special, so I built him his very own place on top of the lava, and I think it turned out great. I brought him to his new house, and he seemed to love it. Thank you so much for helping me get trained by the vulture. I've definitely become a lot stronger, but I don't know if I'm ready to face the Skeleton Lord yet. You told me there was some other way I could become stronger. I think I'm ready. What is it? The mage was about to answer, but just then, I got interrupted by Warren.
Hey Cilio, we have some guests.
I had to leave that thought for later and went to check it out. It was a bunch of seared spirits from earlier. Looks like you guys managed to escape from the Skeleton Lord's wrath too. Let me make you guys a home. I built them their very own houses next to the mages and got some rest after some very exhausting days. I woke up on days 73 through 76 to the seared spirits coming up to me with a request. One of their young ones had been kidnapped by a terrifying monster that lived deep underground. They also told me that I'd be able to find a bunch of great loot down there, as long as I can make it out alive. I accepted their challenge and headed deep into the caves, where I found the young seared spirit. I went to go and save him when I was attacked by a massive fallen chaos knight. I thought that this wouldn't even be a challenge, but oh boy was I wrong. The knight was really strong and was getting a lot of hits in. How are you so strong? Take this, you big sucker! I was getting low on hearts, and it didn't seem like I was managing to hurt the knight at all. This was a bad idea. Just then, I came up with an idea. I really hope this works. I quickly crafted a bucket, filled it up with lava, and placed it down. The lava flowed really fast and dragged us both into the lava lake behind us. And lucky to me, the knight wasn't invincible and finally ended up dying. Woohoo! I did it! Just then, I realized that there was a huge vein of diamonds around the lava pits that I hadn't noticed before. I must have been too distracted by saving the spirit that I completely missed this. I didn't waste any more time and mined up each and every one of those diamonds. Now this is more like it. I used the diamonds I had found to craft an entire set of diamond armor, and even had some leftover diamonds to craft a diamond sword and a diamond pickaxe. On day 77 through 81, I made it back home and was excited to show my friends my new gear. I went up to the seared spirits, and they were impressed with my abilities. Just then, the mage came up to me and told me I was ready for the next step to become stronger. He told me there was an ancient group of drop bears in the nether that can help me reach my next level of strength.
Oh, and make sure to take your dark metal armor plates with you. They may come in handy.
I thanked him, and that reminded me of the netherite I had found earlier. I used it to turn my diamond armor into netherite armor. Now this is going to keep me safe. Just then, I remembered a broken nether portal I had found earlier, so I made my way to it and used my fire powers to light it up. Well, that was easy. Let's go try this out. I hopped into the portal and hopped out into the nether. Whoa, I almost forgot how it felt to be here. I wish the overworld was this warm. I did some exploring and finally found the tribe of drop bears. They seemed really intimidating, and I was way too tired to go and approach them now. So I dug myself a small bed for the night and decided to take a nap. I slept all through day 82, where I had a dream that the skeleton lord approached me.
I see you've been trying to become stronger, and you're no longer a puppy. It doesn't matter how strong you become, you'll never be able to defeat me. After I'm done with you, I'm coming after your friends. Oh, and your owner Steve, he's still alive. But for how long that is up to you. Come surrender yourself to me, or face the consequences.
Why are you doing this? I'll never let you hurt them.
You filthy bone-eating dogs have pestered my kind for long enough. It's time for me to reign supreme, and for you to die.
I woke up on days 83 through 87 in a cold sweat. I was worried about my loved ones, and I knew I had to muster up the courage to go and talk to the drop bears. Hey guys, I promise I'm not with the skeletons. I want to take them out. I'm here to learn from you. They didn't seem to acknowledge what I had said and attacked me. I started fighting them off, but I didn't want to hurt them. So I hopped into the lava where they couldn't reach me. They then ran away scared, and I was really confused as to why. Just then, I turned around and saw a massive lava garden coming right at me. Oh no. Time to get my fight on. Thanks to my training with the vulture in water, I was also able to swim a lot faster in lava. And to be honest, I don't know if I could have survived without it. I managed to dodge the guardian's hits, and after some fighting, finally take it down. Take this. Haha! I got it! Just then, I saw the drop bears coming towards me, but they didn't seem angry this time. They thanked me for taking out that lava guardian, as it had been terrorizing them for a while.
We apologize for attacking you earlier. We don't know who to trust at this point. You clearly are not one of the bad guys. We want to present you with this enchanted book. We are sure it will help you along the way.
Thank you so much. That will definitely help me out. Now I'll be on my way.
Wait, we have one more thing for you.
They brought me inside one of their old buildings and used my netherite armor and dark metal armor plates to build me an entire set of dark metal armor, which they told me was supposed to be much stronger than any other armor I had ever worn before. I felt unstoppable and made my way back home. On days 88 through 92, I hopped out of the nether portal, but right outside the portal, I saw the skeleton lord facing me.
Your friends didn't end up being very strong, and that traitor mage, well, let's just say they're taken care of. You're the last one standing. You won't last long.
The skeleton lord charged at me, hitting me with strength I had never felt before. I fought back with everything I had. If I can't take you down with my sword, how about you try to survive my abilities? I started shooting my fireballs at him, but his shield seemed to block them off. Oh no, I can't fight him now. He'll kill me. I need to go and check up on my friends. I created a big wall of fire in between me and the skeleton lord and ran right back to my base.
You can run, but you can't hide forever, you mutt.
I made it back home after what felt like forever, and found the whole place in ruins. Luckily, it seemed like my friends had all managed to survive, but I could not let this happen again. I had to kill that skeleton lord, and end his reign once and for all. On days 93 through 96, I knew I didn't know what to do. I was strolling around mindlessly, thinking on how to become strong enough to kill the skeleton. I had already learned a lot of new abilities, gained strong gear, and trained as hard as I could. I didn't know what to do. As I was walking around, I felt a strange surge of energy in me, and saw my pickaxe shimmer. What was that about? Then I looked up and found myself staring at the meteor. I doubt this was a coincidence. I better try my luck and break this thing. I started mining the meteor, and this time it seemed to be breaking. It was still really hard and strong, but the enchantment from the drop bears seemed to bypass their unbreakability, and I was able to cut down the blocks. Just then, I realized the meteor was hollow from the inside, and I stepped in. I did not expect the inside of a meteor to look like this. Just then, I felt a change in energy, and I saw some sort of special block in the center of the meteor. I didn't know what it was, but I felt something calling me. I stepped towards it and touched it. Just then, I grew into a mutant firewolf with 22 hearts. I then realized there was a chest in the meteor, and once I looked inside, I found a magic staff that shot some sort of powerful rays. This is awesome! I think this is it. I think I can finally do this. I better go and tell my friends. I went back home on days 97 through 99 to tell my friends about what happened. Hey guys, I think this is it. I'm going to take on that evil skeleton for all of us. There's just a few things I need to do before I go. I went to gather as much wool as I could, and then started finishing off the final parts of the statue, the firewolf's head. This has definitely been one of the coolest builds I've done so far. I think it's nearly as cool as the scorpion statue I made when I played for 100 days as a scorpion in one of my previous videos. You should definitely go and check it out after this one. With the statue finished, I was really proud of myself, and I decided to go home and make my final preparations. I made sure to stock up on a bunch of food, and pack up all my gear and make my way out. This is it, guys. I promise to see you again soon. I'll kill him for all of us. I headed out into the night, prepared for the fight of my life. I used my new magic staff to shoot a bunch of flares into the sky to attract the skeleton lord and bring him to me. It was day 100, and it wasn't long before the skeleton lord showed up.
I can see that you've grown a lot since last time I saw you. But do you seriously think you can defeat me? Bring it on, you pathetic excuse of a dog!
I put everything into this battle, shooting it with everything I had. I used my fireballs to shoot him. I hit him with my sword, lighting him on fire. And I even used my new magic staff to shoot at him. And I could tell I was piercing his armor. But that skeleton must have been a tank in his past life, because he had a lot of health. You're going down, skeleton. You can't survive my magic forever. I kept blasting him with the staff, dealing as much damage as possible. You are going down! Just then, I realized I had gotten overconfident, and the skeleton lord managed to hit me back into a tree. That really hurts. I didn't have the strength to get up, and I had a feeling this was it. The skeleton lord laughed and started approaching me.
Time's up, little puppy. Any last words?
Just then, I saw a vulture flying at it from behind it, and knocked him back. Master, you came back for me. The skeleton lord turned to face the vulture, and I knew this was my last chance. I put everything I had into one final hit, and swung my sword at the skeleton's back, finally killing him and ending his evil reign. Thanks so much for saving me.
I couldn't let you have all the bones for yourself.
The vulture then took me to the skeleton lord's tower, where he was keeping my owner Steve. I broke him out and brought him home with me. He seemed to like it, and I was happy that I was finally reunited with my owner. Now my family and friends could finally live in harmony together.